Hi everyone, so I'm going to be talking about the operationism in psychology. So it is the methodological description of how something is measured, and this became an idea, like an official idea in the 1930s, but it was in the works in like the first couple years of the 1900s, and it started with Percy Bridgman, and then it was later worked on by B.F. Skinner, and then it was officially an idea when S.S. Stevens worked on it. And it is also known as a performance which we execute in order to make known a concept, which was its original description and idea by Percy, but eventually overtook by S.S. Stevens to become that first definition. And it was kind of interesting because when, it was worked on for maybe like 20-ish years, but once it was like finalized, um it was adapted super quickly by psychologists and researchers. So why was it picked up so fast? In the article, it said that researchers had been thinking of this idea prior to it becoming officially announced, and it provided post hoc justification to many works that before didn't have much um, proof that it was valid or just that it could be proved. So operationism gave it that. So when this was first becoming an idea, it was during the Progressive era, which is when immigrants from Europe came to the US, and that increased the numbers in the schools. And because there were so many people at schools and the idea of psychology was just becoming accepted, it gave researchers the perfect opportunity to run intellectual tests on students and gave them the chance to um, introduce operationism, which was further used for military tests to see who would make a good soldier and that kind of stuff. But after the military tests, there were a lot of problems that arose because there was no internal validity during that time, meaning these tests that they were measuring wasn't actually measuring, like in that case, intelligence. It was just measuring what they thought to be intelligence, but they had no definition of what intelligence actually was. Because of this, they noticed that a lot of their tests didn't actually have any meaning, so they lost a lot of trust and were attacked by the public, saying that psychology is not a real science when it was just becoming a possibility that it was. And that created an atmosphere of caution for researchers because they kind of felt like they were, dancing around and couldn't really back anything up that they were saying. So they had to be a lot more cautious. Um, so obviously operationism is like a real idea, so they clearly fixed it a little bit. So they were able to fix it by defining what is to be tested before they just say, this is what we're testing, this is how we did it. And basically that just meant that they had the theoretical entity and it is like equivalent with the measurement procedure. And looking at this modern day, we see that researchers want control and legitimacy, and that is kind of a problem, but basically researchers just want to be right and use old evidence and research to back up their new claims. And this is my works cited. Thank you.